Thank you so much, Miss Mika Diamond. I'm glad you told me. I had to turn my mic on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Alright, so let's start that over. This Just So You Know moment is brought to you by Dr. LaShonda Jackson Dean and Jackson Dean Investments. Just so you know, Dr. Jackson Dean, the Pen Slayer, says, I am a talk show host, a speaker, a life and success strategist, and an author. I inspire, empower, and coach others to be the best version of themselves. Welcome to Just So You Know Moments with a Twist. So, I see we got some freezing on one of the lives. Let's get that restarted. If not, if that one doesn't work, I'll just repost this one. Hello everyone, thank you all for joining. Want to say I appreciate you so much, and if you can do me a favor, please like and share this video with your friends, your family. Do some watch parties for me. Help us out. I also need you to be interactive and participative. It's going to be a good one tonight. Also, as I always do, I want to thank God for giving me this opportunity and all these social media outlets for giving me this opportunity to use this as my practice lab as I move closer and closer to my worldwide, national, and international syndicated internet, radio, and TV talk show. So, this week we're going to continue our series on Level Up. 3 weeks ago, we began our series with Level Up, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life. 2 weeks ago, we discussed how to level your community up. Can someone do a watch party on my fan page? Add it to my fan page because right now it's freezing over there. I can see it. So if you can share this post as a watch party over to my fan page, Dr. LaShonda Jackson Dean, I certainly appreciate it. And so, 2 weeks ago, we discussed how to level up your community. Last week, we discussed how to change your money mentality. And I'll take the opportunity to recap these past few segments, upcoming Level Up, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life, Level Up, Change Your Community, and Change Your Money Mentality. Just so you know. Dr. Jackson Dean, the Pen Slayer, says, change your mindset recap, okay? If you are serious about doing anything of any magnitude, if you have some things on your list that you want to do, if you have developed your vision and you also have developed your plan for your vision, because it's very important. If you're going to have a vision, you must have a plan for your vision. You just can't see it and it be it. You got to plan for it so you can actually do it. And so, there's an important factor to getting any and all of that done. And that's, you have to change your mindset. And so, on that week, we discussed 2 mind modes. 1 was conscious, 2 was subconscious, as well as mindset detoxing. If you want to learn more about that particular episode, you want to hear about it, go to Spotify and put my name in the search and listen to last week's episode. Regarding level up your community, determine who and what makes up your community. Then seek out what your community is lacking and provide the service. Be a service to your community. Because as you go up, you want to bring your community up with you. Now, for more information on that particular episode, go to Spotify once again, put my name in the search engine, the search bar, and watch the episode 2 weeks ago. That's what that will level up your community. You have the ability to increase or decrease the value of your community. And I hope that all of you all that are listening want to do what you can to increase the value of your community. The final recap is on change your money mentality. On this episode, I was teaching you how to use your money to create additional revenue. I discussed that drip. There's a song out called Drip too. I don't know if they're talking about this drip, but you need to get on this drip if you want to make some extra revenue with your money. Look me up on Spotify. Put my name in the search engine. Look for an episode on change your money mentality and listen to that. Hello everyone. I see two of my classmates on here, Zelsnick and Francia. Francis, we call her Francis. I see my sister Michelle Saxon and Mika Diamond is on here. Chiquita. Hey Mike. LaRonda is here. Miss Florine is here. Cassie is here. Kim is here. Tracy is here. Sonia. Latrice. And several other. April Jones. Thank you all for being here. So let's move on. Did I say my disclaimer? If anything should happen, the computer fall off, I fall out the chair, well, we're going to just keep rolling back through it. Did I do that? Okay, we did it again. This week's segment is entitled Level Up from Generational Curse to Generational Wealth. Just so you know, Mamas with a Twist, we aim to detect and correct. We detect it and correct it. Detect and correct, okay? So August is Minority Business Month. So if you know anyone that has a business, hey Muncie, hey Gina, if you know anyone that has a minority business, make sure that you go and purchase from them. Help them out. Support your friends that are in business, okay? Can I get some likes and some love out there? Give me some likes and love. Make me feel good. Pump me up. Let's get this going. Just so you know, we have learned about changing your mindset in order to change our lives. We now understand that we are charged to be a service to our community in an effort to lift them up as we climb. Thank you for the love. We also learned that what we need to do in order to inquire what we need to make the changes in our life to be life changing. This week we're learning about legacy. Y'all know about legacy? Okay, well here we go. Generational curses. What are they? Have y'all ever heard of generational curses? Well, what these are, and I'll appreciate if you put in the comments of what you think generational curses are. Add it there. These are fallacies that have made their way through our lives from generation to generation. And what I mean by generation to generation, that's you, your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your great-great-grandmother, and her mother before that, okay? And it could also be on your father's side. And that's you, your father, and your father's side going all the way back. But what is it? It can be a magnitude of things such as alcoholism, teen pregnancy, domestic violence tendencies, or actually doing it. You name it. But tonight, we're going to work on generational curses with money. Okay? How many of you have ever heard someone say, I can't seem to keep any money of my own. It just slips through my fingers, just like sand. I put it in here and it just goes away. I got holes in my pockets. Somebody taking my money out of my accounts or something. We got Kim Lesson is saying same cycles in the family. That's exactly right. Muncie said legacy is super important. Absolutely. Miss LaRonda said generational curses are the dang devil. You got that right. Something created to block or sidetrack your blessing. Absolutely. Michelle is saying bad credit, not teaching finances. Absolutely. Thank you, Larry and Peggy. Charles, Andrew, thank you all. And Kendra, all of you for joining tonight. So, all of you have your own definition of what generational curses is, and I just gave you a few of them. Not being able to keep any money, being an alcoholic, being a drug addict, being lazy. So you've heard people say, I just can't keep any money in my hands. It just go through my hands like sand. I got holes in my pockets, and somebody taking money out of my accounts or whatever, it just slips through my finger. But my mom was the same way. She never had any disposable income. She never had anything extra. It was always just check to check. The old folks used to say, pillar to post, right? And then you heard your mom say, my grandmother always complain about having too much month and not enough money. So this probably came from her mother. So it went from her mother to her, and then from her to your mother, and then from your mother to you. This is what you call a generational curse. These are generational, quote unquote, values or non-values that have been passed down from generation to generation to the next generation of the same thing, okay? So now you find yourself behaving the same way and saying the same thing, right? How many of you have heard someone say, I ain't about nothing, my father wasn't about nothing, his father wasn't about nothing, and then they tell the child, and you gonna grow up to be nothing too, because I ain't nothing and we come from nothing, right? You've heard that, right? That's another example of a generational curse, because this is something that's being taught and it's being passed down and passed down and passed down. But just so you know, tonight on the Just So You Know moment with a twist, we breaking generational curses tonight, y'all. Can I get some love? Y'all give me some love. Let me know you're here, because we're going to break some curses tonight. We coming out of these generational curses tonight. Because the best way to come out of things and come out of bad things is to get the knowledge. You need to get the knowledge so you can learn what you need to do to counteract these things that's going on with your life. Miss O'Ronda said, or my check never meet. They just wave at each other. A dang generational curse. You are absolutely right. And that's what people say. At the ends don't ever meet. They just wave at each other. And so, if you ever hear someone talking to your children or your relatives and they say to them, hey, you're not going to do anything, you're not going to be anything, I want you to stop them right there. You tell them, don't speak that type of negativity and ill will over my children, over my family, because guess what? My family is blessed and we're going to do good things. We're going to do big things, right? You stop them right there in their track, right there. Tell them don't ever speak that way. And you always speak good things and goodwill over your children, goodwill over everything that you do, goodwill over your family, goodwill over your friends. That's how you keep it going, okay? Whether you know it or not, we all have a legacy. It's up to you whether the structure of your legacy that you leave for your family is a good one or a bad one. Okay? Your legacy is what you teach and provide for your descendants coming after you. You can create a memorable legacy where your families remember you into perpetuity if you leave something of value. Right? For example, have y'all heard other races, you go into their homes or you go into their business and they got pictures all along the wall and they're saying, well, this is my great grandfather and my great grandmother, and she started a business, a shoestring business, on making a quarter a week, and she put that quarter to the side until she was able to build a business from the ground up, and you can see their chests is all out, they proud and everything, and she kept this going, and she taught her son and her daughter how to take their quarters, and they kept the business going, and then those sons and daughters had children, and they taught those children how to put their nickels and dimes and quarters together to keep the business afloat, and the business just kept going on for generation to generation. You see a lot of pictures: great grandfather, great grandmother, grandmother, then, and now here we are in XY business. We've been in business for the last 5 generations, and they are proud because this business is still going on. Right? You've heard that, right? And so the reason why they kept the pictures, and the reason why they kept the letters, and the reason why they kept things in their memory about what happened with their family is because their family member left something of value. People remember you when you provide something of value. If you're not providing anything of value, guess what? Folks will forget you in a second because you don't have anything to offer. But if you can provide something of value, you'll always be remembered. And so that's what a legacy is. And so we've seen this type of behavior in other races, but how often do we see it in our own? How often? And I know we come through a long line of not having. I know we come through a long line of things being taken from us so that we weren't able to sustain anything. But I want to tell you something. 1940s and 50s, because that's as far as I can remember going back of folks that I remember people talking about, people in your family. Those people did try to put things together and get a business going and try to pass it on. What happened after 1960, 1970, that was a change, a shift in the whole dynamics in the black family. Where you had people in the 40s and 50s trying to build something, trying to produce a legacy and pass something down, we became so acclimated with other parts of the world that we decided that we didn't want to continue what the parents and grandparents was teaching us. And here it is now in the 2000s, and we see now we made a big mistake. A big mistake. And so we need to do what we can to correct this mistake. We need to get together. We need to build our own businesses. We need to teach our families how to keep this business going and how to create wealth so that we can pass it down and make legacies ourselves. And so we want to be able to be the ones to have our pictures on the wall. We want our grandchildren and great grandchildren to say, yeah, this my great grandma, Dr. Jassadine, and she put a business together from her bare hands, and she made sure that me today, 3 generations down, I had enough money to go to school to start my business. Right now, I'm working in the business that she created. Those are the things that we need to instill in our families going forward, okay? Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So that's not just your children, that's your grandchildren. And I'm pretty sure that goes on down and on down. It just keeps going on. So children's. That's what that means. This verse keeps our life goals and our vision and our legacy in front and center. And that makes us make the best decision on when we choose and how to use our money today. Okay? So, when you kingdom building, that's right, Dr. Dickerson. Kingdom building, that's when you producing your legacy and you putting all your eggs together and all your coins together, and you building the foundation to keep this thing going on and on, going on, generation to generation. Now ask yourself, are you preparing a good legacy for your dependents? Are you doing what you need to do in order to have a legacy for your children's children's? What are you doing? What are you doing to ensure your children's children's have a good start? I want you all to think about that. Take some time and think about that. What exactly are you doing? What can you do to help your children out, okay? Hey, Dr. Stephens, how you doing? Leaving a nest egg for generations in the future that survives for years to come. Financial capital from the previous generation should be one of your main goals. Did you understand what I'm saying? Leaving a nest egg, leaving a business, leaving a portfolio for the generation coming behind you. You want to be able to set something aside for you. You want your picture on the wall, right? If you leave something of value, let me tell you something. If you leave something of value, you can go down 3 generations. Your picture is going to be on the wall because you're going to be remembered for what you did, okay? It's a tragedy when you have a previous generation, and this is just like I was saying with the 1940s and 1950s. You have a previous generation that works hard and they amass a fortune, regardless of how big or how small it is, for the next generation. And the next generation blows it. Hey, Sonia Lowe. And they blow all of this money or whatever this fortune was needlessly. And they blow it on stupid stuff. Have y'all witnessed that? Have you ever seen someone that's been in a pretty decent family or whatever, and they leave money for the children, the next generation, and those kids just go buck wild and just blow all the money and don't take care of business? The parents leave them a house. Guess what? They don't pay the taxes on the house. Then the state got the house, right? Huh? You seen it happen. We've seen it happen before. Muncie said she's teaching her children. She's teaching her children stuff. Let's see. Teaching my kids about credit, financing, and tithing. Good job, Muncie. Hey, Lisa McAlpine. So, you see people that do this every day. They're blessed that their family was able to leave them something. And instead of them taking care of whatever it was that they were blessed to receive, they blow it, they smoke it up, they sell it off, they don't pay the taxes, and the state gets it, and guess what? They're left with nothing. So now the previous generation have done all of this work to get this going, to get this fortune amassed, and the next generation messes up. Now, I've seen this happen where one generation is doing well, they leave something for the next generation mess it up, but then the generation that comes after them, they understand what happened. They gain the knowledge, and guess what? They started all over again. So they start to rebuild. And there may be a little something left from that 2 generations back where they can pull together and push on to the next generation. That's great. That's great. That's great if you can do that. But there are ones that will not. So anyone can become rich, but it requires proper management and strategy to change the money mentality and mindset that people have about money. I want to read you something from my book Seed to Seeds by Dr. LaShonda Jackson Dean. It says, wealth is seen more in white race than compared to the black race. There are some rich black people, but there is a difference between rich and wealth. Riches is having a lot of current money. Get that? Rich is having a lot of current money. Wealth is generational. Wealth is generational. Get what I'm saying? I want you to really understand what I'm saying. Rich is current money. Wealth is generational. Generational in the sense that a bulk of money is inherited from ancestors. generation to generation. Therefore, we now know in order to create wealth, the wealth has to be amassed at a level where it can be enough to sustain you, your children, your children's children, and their children. Now that's wealth. That's generational wealth. The knowledge has to be passed along. Now that's important. Listen to what I'm saying in here. The knowledge has also had to be passed along on how to increase the funds so that it has the ability to grow while being transferred. So what it's saying is that you can have all the money in the world. Like I say, anybody could be rich. But if you don't know how to manage your money, if you don't have a strategy, a plan in place to help you grow that money, to capitalize on the funds that you have, guess what? You would never be wealthy. You might get rich, but you won't be wealthy because you're going to end up losing more money than you gain because you don't know how to manage your money. You don't have a plan for how to keep your money. It's one thing to get it, but you got to know how to keep it. All right? So let's move on. So now you understand why I took you through the series the way that I did this time. For this series with Level Up, I started you out with change your mindset. So I was trying to get you to open your mind to the things that I wanted to talk to you about. Then and to gather things in your revenue and money and multi streams of income. Put all of this in your mind and put it to work. Then we talked about leveling up your community. Bringing people up with you. Bringing your community around you up with you. That was the second week. Third week was changing your money mentality, right? And so that's broadening your mind on the things that you can do in order to gather money, to gather your revenue, to sustain your money. And so now, this week, the fourth week, we're talking about generational wealth. And so this is why I brought you through this entire series to get to this point here, because anybody can be rich, but not everybody can be wealthy. So it is possible for families to create wealth, create a wealth mindset, and pass the wealth on and the mindset down to ascending generations. But one important factor is to know the difference between an asset and a liability. You have some people that think just because you acquire things, those are assets, when there really are liabilities. So that's an important factor in becoming wealthy, is to know the difference between assets and liability. Assets increase your cash flow. Liabilities decrease your cash flow. So you got money coming in versus money going out, right? When people observe me doing different businesses and shows and book events, and they say, that Dr. Jackson Dean sure love money. That's what they say. And I had this lady that attempted to insult me by saying condescendingly, you just be after that money so much. I have never been the type to always be after money like that. I just smiled when she said that, because I could look at her life and I could look at her children's life and see that instead of her trying to insult me, she should have been trying to learn from me about how that she can get her some revenue. So watch what you say, watch what you're doing, get your money together and build your own legacy, because that's what I'm doing. I'm working towards building my own legacy. So it's not that I just love money. I respect money. I respect what it can do for me and how it can help me create things and how it can build things with me and where it can take me. So now that we know how and what generational wealth is, let's talk about what we need to do in order to get it. There are 5 things. You got investments, real estate, owning your own business, multiple streams of income, and a solid plan and knowledge. So let's talk about investments now. So the other week, that was last week when I was talking about the drip. Investments. Find out where you can capitalize on your money to increase your revenue. So with the drip plan, going online, finding your brokerage company that you can invest some money in so that you can own shares of other businesses to create a drip, dividend reinvestment plan. That's what it's called. That's what drip means, okay? And so you take that, you taking just a little bit of money and you adding it to a brokerage account, and you may not have enough money to buy one share of a particular company, but you buy a fraction. I think I use the examples of Walmart and Amazon. Walmart fluctuates between $57 and $96 per share. With a drip account, you can start with an automatic deposit of $50, and maybe you can't buy a whole share of $57 of Walmart, but you put $50 into that $57. So now you got a fraction of that, and then the next time you put your $50 in, now you got a share and a half. Okay? And you just keep this going on automatic. Same thing with Amazon. Amazon $1,400. It fluctuates between $800 and $1,400. A lot of us can't just put in $1,400 to buy a share of Amazon. So you do the DRIP, DRIP, dividend reinvestment plan, and you put money towards buying you different shares, different fractions of the shares until you're able to own a share or two or whatever, and just keep it going. Larry Davis says, it's always been about instilling in myself and my children, instilling in my children financial intelligence and the importance of building a legacy. What you are emphasizing is true. That's right. So that's the same thing. And if you work a job, it's a lot of us do. If you work a job and your job offers matching, make sure that you are contributing to this matching. If the matching is 4%, 7%, whatever like this, make sure you're doing what the match is and above. If they're offering you a 401k, a Roth or whatever, make sure you putting a good percentage in so that you can capitalize on that plan. Stock market is up right now. Do we know where it's going to be tomorrow? We don't. But we also know that the stocks do rebound. So if you one of those people, let me tell you, let me warn you. If you're one of those people that's going to watch your stock account daily, you're going to make yourself sick. Because the stocks go up and they go down, go up and go down. And so you may put your money in and then you look, oh my God, it's dropped by 30% or whatever. I'm losing money. But then guess what? Next day it goes up by 75%. And those are hypothetical examples. But you have to be able to withstand and be able to handle the ups and downs of the market if you're going to be a part of the market, okay? Same thing with your 401k, Roth and all of that works off of the stock exchange. Hey, Tara. And so you're going to make money and you may even lose some money. Hey, Aunt Louise, she said, wow, good. Never too old to learn. Absolutely. Miss Lisa said, nothing wrong with loving money. Absolutely. So stocks, bonds, 401ks, Roth, or whatever. Another important one, and people hate to talk about it, but this is important. Insurance. Right now, we all don't have the money to put $100,000 aside for our next generation because we're paying bills, we're paying for college, we living our life or whatever like that. We have things that we're trying to pay for. But what you can do is get you a policy on yourself or your family or whatever and pay for that policy so that when something does happen, because something is going to happen, we all know that we're not going to be here forever. Take that money and put it towards whatever. Okay? Whether it's going to the next generation, whether it's going, if you're doing it as a family, it's going to a family function, whatever, use that to acquire wealth. That's one of the easiest ways to gain extra revenue. One of the easiest ways to do it. If you are focused and if you are consistent in what you're doing, okay? Right? So, the next one, number 2, is real estate. Everybody can't go out and buy multi apartments or whatever. Find you a duplex. Find you a single living house and put you a tenant in it if you can do that. I'm tell y'all one of the best ways to do it. Some people know about this, some people don't. Have you all heard of tax sales? Every city, every county has a tax sale. And that was, I mentioned how some families leave property for the next generation and the next generation doesn't pay their taxes and they end up losing the house. This is where your tax sales come in at. People can't afford to pay their taxes, or they just decide they're not going to pay their taxes and they lose their property. I feel bad for them, but that could be a blessing for you. You go to the tax sale, you'll save you up a little money. The property comes up, you can afford it. Put your money down, pay the taxes, and guess what? You own the property. But you have to also keep up with paying the taxes on the property in order to keep it. So don't make the mistake of acquiring the property at a tax sale and then you don't pay your taxes. Because guess what? Now you lost the property and you also lost the money that you put into it. And in order to be a part of the tax sale is an easy thing to do. All you have to do is go to your state website, look for your county, look for the tax assessor's office, get you a bidder's license, and normally they have those sales once a month or once a quarter or whatever like that. Get your money together, get your bidding number, go down there to the auction and bid. Now, you can also get your bidder's license and go and practice just to see, so you'll know what's going on. So go down there, take a look at the auction, listen to how they're doing it, see how they're actually spending this money and how they're running these auctions, so that whenever you get your money, you're prepared to go down there and you know what to do. So that's one way of getting you some land and properties or whatever like that. Most cases, those houses and property that you get at the tax sale are not in the best condition. Sometimes they are. It just depends on where you go, and who lost their taxes. But you know how some people are. They really feel like they're about to lose it anyway. So guess what they do? They dog it. But if you can go get a $50,000 piece of property for $3,000, $5,000 of taxes, you still win. You take some money and go and fix that place up, put it on the market, sell it, flip it. That's what people were talking about, flipping real estate. That's what flipping real estate is. I might even do a series on that, on how to flip real estate. But you take that, you take your money, you go down to the auction, you bid on it, and it's going to be some people bidding against you or whatever. And so you got to know how much you can afford to spend, because they want that money. Normally 3 days, you can pay it that day or 3 days, give them a check or whatever. And a money order is not a check. They're not going to take a check. You're going to need a money order of the money and pay for the property. So that's your investment and that's your real estate. We'll do a real estate later on, a full version of real estate. Number 3, owning your own business. We have a lot of businesses out there. You need a viable business if you're going to build a legacy for it. One of the easiest things to get into is to get you a food business, whether it's a food truck, whether it's meal prep, We got a lot of people doing meal prep. Meal prep is the newest and biggest craze right now. You got so many people who are so busy, but they want to stay in shape. And so they need somebody to cook for them, right? They need someone to ensure that they're eating right. And so that's one of the best and quickest food businesses that you can get in is meal prep. So owning your own business, it don't have to always be in food. Some people sell clothes. Some people sell books. Some people have services that they provide. You know, that's all. It's all a business. So find out what it is that you're good at, or find out what is something that you can learn to be good at, and turn it into a business so that you can build your legacy from there. Okay. Number 4, multi-streams of income. If anybody knows me, they always know that I always talk about multi-streams of income. I always have been a proponent of multi-streams of income ever since I was probably 17 years old, because I always wanted to have my own money. And so how you do that? You may have a full-time job, but I tell you, if you work a full-time job, you give those people 8 hours of your day, don't you go home and go to sleep. Don't you go home and sit up and watch TV all night. Don't you go home and sit on Facebook all night. You go home and start working on your own business. You start working on a plan for your stream of income. You start figuring out a way that you can make some money. Now, if you making money on Facebook some kind of way or whatever, that's one thing. If you making money by somebody paying you to watch some TV program, that's another thing. But if they are not, don't spend 8 hours at somebody's job and then come home and don't work on your own stuff. You come home and work on your own business and get yourself to push forward, okay? That's it. That's number 4, multi-streams of income. Sell some Avon. Sell some Mary Kay. Write some books. Babysit. Whatever. But you get you some separate multi-streams of income so that you have some money coming in. That's an asset. Cash flow coming in. Cash flow coming in. Now, if you taking that money and you blowing it, guess what? You just made another liability for yourself. And that's money going out. You want to get money coming in so that you can take that money and build towards your legacy, okay? So, multi-streams of income. And number 5, the most important thing out of all of this, out of the investments, real estate, own your own business, and multi-streams of income, the most important aspect in generational wealth is a solid plan and knowledge. So, whatever it is that you know, teach your children. Teach your friends. Teach your family. If they're listening, some folks not going to listen to you, guess what? Don't even worry about it. If they don't want to listen to you or how you can teach them to have a better life, guess what? Find people that will. Don't worry about the ones that won't. If you have knowledge, pass it on. If you don't have any knowledge, research it. There's a plethora of information and knowledge on Google, on the internet, on these different other internet outlets that you can find any information that you want. YouTube, you can go there and what they call it, YouTube University. Go and find out about all the financial aspects that you can learn about. Everything that you need to know, you can learn it right there on YouTube, Google, or whatever. Find out what you need to know and pass it down to your children. Make them sit still for a minute and teach them something. Teach them, like I was telling my son, I want to teach you something that if just so happen you can't find a job, you still know how to make money for yourself. You still got money coming in because you have a skill. You know how to turn your hobby into a business. Teach your children how to open up their own business. Let them do something. Let them learn something so that they can grab hold of that and make their own money. They feel better about themselves when they're making their own money, okay? So, those are the 5 things that I want to teach y'all tonight with generational wealth, because anybody can be rich, but everybody can't be wealthy. And so I don't have, since we're over our time limit, I'm not going to do the emails tonight. I'm just going to go ahead and close for the night. I thank y'all for being here. And this concludes our episode of Level Up, from generational curses to generational wealth. Please join me next week at 8 p.m. on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and I'm also on Spotify. I want y'all to go to Spotify, put my name in the search, find my episodes, and listen to it. I'm going to be adding some additional things to my profile on Spotify that you're not going to get here on Facebook. And so if you're going to follow me and you want to learn some things, you better get you a Spotify account, and you need to start listening to me on Spotify. Put me on your favorites. I got some good stuff that's going to be coming your way. For more information on Dr. LaShonda Jackson Dean, the services and the books that I offer, visit me online at www.drlashondajacksondean.com. See you next week for Just So You Know Moments with a Twist. Bye-bye. See ya.